Welcome to IPMNation.com, the next generation of Internet radio, powered by Impact Player Music.
You are receiving a remote transmission from IPMNation.com. Stay tuned for further instructions. You are receiving a remote transmission from IPMNation.com. Stay tuned for further instructions.
Hey, oh my Charlie, what a good little Charlie. Hit you one for the team between the eyes. Kyoto moving on, so the roots spitting rattle. Try banging those who get across the line. He's a one-armed black guy popping paper, busting out. And oh, that Charlie King on the five-finger pony rode the swinging glory from the pride. He was a damn good kid, the kind of kid that always had your back. Oh, your back. Oh, drag him out, back, face down, and then I'll have it out. Beat it up. Hey, oh, my Charlie rode the gun box and money named the Boston Knuckles Murphy on the rise. Here come a clever up, hustle like a sun, muscle, bare bones, a tester on the vine. He's a one-armed black cat popping paper, pissing him off. And just like Charlie, he's a speeding on a sucker, clip across budding slugger on the fly. He was a damn good kid, the kind of kid that always had your back. Oh, your back. Oh, drag him out, back, face down, and then I'll have it out. Beat it out. Never walk away, never turn your back, never show emotion. Keep your head on straight, keep your eyes wide open, keep your hands from blocking. Never give your name, never tell them where you've been or who you're working for. It's payback or payday. Let the track stitch together, hang your hands and throw your face. Johnny, swing to the top, but swing up and up. It's better to be dead than come up. Smile, tripping up. Here come the ugly son of a gypsy. Johnny, swing to the top, but swing up and up. It's better to be dead than come up. Smile, rush, the gloves are coming off and down. We rock 'em out one by one. Never walk away, never turn your back, never show emotion. Keep your head on straight, keep your eyes wide open, keep your hands from parting. Never give your name, never tell them where you've been, who you're working for. It's payback or payday. Let the track stitch together, hang your hands and throw your face.
Welcome everyone to Remote Transmission here on IPMNation.com. Just a little bit after 11 p.m. on the East Coast, coming to you live from Styling Souls here at 832 Elm Street in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. Matt Connerton here with you. My co-host Dan Ranlett is a little bit under the weather. Just got a message from him a few minutes ago. So Dan, if you're listening, hope you feel better soon. And we have a very special guest who's going to be calling in a moment, Shane Watkins from the band NSI. The song you just heard was called Come Up Smiling. And NSI, as you can tell, they're very unique. Definitely have kind of an experimental and eclectic sound. We're going to play another track from NSI a little bit later after the interview, but Shane will be calling in shortly. Couple quick programming notes. Tomorrow night, of course, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time is Norm Unfiltered, so be sure to check that out and call in, join the show. We're always looking for people too to actually show up in the studio and sit in with us live. We do all of these shows at Styling Souls at 832 Elm Street in downtown Manchester, New Hampshire. So if you're in the Manchester area, by all means come on down. Wednesday nights at 9:30 we do Norm Unfiltered. Thursday nights at 10:45. We do Verbal Ejaculation, hosted by Dan Randlett and Chris Rose. So by all means, please come on down. Another programming note for you, we have a special edition of Remote Transmission coming up on Friday night. Oh, I'll tell you about that later because I believe this is Mr. Shane Watkins calling in. Hi, Shane.
Hi there, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Doing great, man.
Welcome to Remote Transmission live here on IPMNation.com. We just played Come Up Smiling. Is it Come Up Smiling or Coming Up Smiling?
It's Come Up Smiling.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So we just played that on the show, and we're going to play Tugboat a little bit later. But I was just talking about your sound, and NSI has a very unique sound. How do you describe it? You know, I usually throw terms out there like eclectic and experimental, but it's very hard to describe you guys.
Yeah, I think I go, use the same terms, very eclectic type stuff. Try to be as creative as we possibly can. You know, that's pretty much it. Just whatever comes out, and that's what we go with. Hope for the best, you know.
What do you do in the band, Shane?
I do the vocals, all the vocals, and guitar. For studio stuff, I do a lot of the mixing and a lot of the recording, stuff like that.
Now, how many people are in the band? Is it a 3-piece, a 4-piece?
It's actually a 4-piece.
Okay.
There's myself, there's Scott Foster on guitar and keyboards, there's Brian Martin on drums, and Joe Harding on bass.
Okay. And your bass player, he's the newest member, correct?
Yes, he is the newest youngster of our tribe.
I remember talking to you on Local Outbreak when you came in for that interview, and you were telling me that he's the only one who stands up. The rest of you guys sit down, but because he's the young guy, he has to stand when you guys play live.
He's gotta earn his stripes first. You know, he ain't getting no chair yet.
That's right. Where does the name NSI come from?
It started out as a little joke project. Scott and I used to just sit around and strum acoustic guitars, and we just started calling ourselves Nothing Special and the Insignificant, and we just took that, said NSI, there we go, that's us, job done, moving forward. So.
And how long has NSI existed?
I'm going to say it probably started out somewhere around 2004.
Okay.
And it was just, like I said, a 2-piece, little acoustic act, and then we moved it to a full band, and yeah, it seems to work well.
What was it that made you and Scott decide to transition to a full band?
Well, we have a lot of ideas, you know, in our heads of what we like to hear, and you know, when we're sitting there banging on our guitars really hard, and we say, you know, we mimicking a drum set, you know, with our mouths and stuff like that, we said, well, let's probably get a drum set, you know, get some low end going, because we just keep hearing more and more ideas and more stuff, and we said, well, time for some more members. So
now the tune Come Up Smiling, and we're going to play Tugboat a little bit later. Are those from your newest CD?
Yep, they're on the Squeeze album there, and that came out last year, actually. It's already been a year. Oh my God. But yeah, it's on the CD. Both of those are. And, yeah, they're fun little ditties for us to play.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of bands do you play with when you play out? Because you guys are unique, is it difficult to find other bands to team up with?
Yep, it really is. We play with everybody. Just this past Sunday, we did a really, really slammin' heavy metal show actually up at the Brick House, and that was pretty fun. We had some fun, met some really nice people, and you know, that was one show, big, heavy, really screaming heavy show, and then yeah. And last Saturday, I played with a band called When Geeks Unite. They seem to fit well with us, and another band from Boston, Dagmar. It's a duo band. They're pretty eclectic, pretty very avant-garde type stuff that seems to fit very well with the style that we're going with. So, but yeah, it does get pretty difficult to find a band like certain bands that kind of fit in your type of genre, you know.
Sure.
You kind of bang around, you try to hit everybody up, and you know, a lot of people are either like our stuff or they're really gonna hate it. So So you grab as many people as you can from each genre of music listeners, and hopefully they'll gravitate towards your stuff. And if not, well, at least you tried, you know.
Absolutely. Is playing out a big priority for you guys? Do you guys play a lot of shows, or are you more focused on the studio work? Or
I think it depends on what type of year it is. Right now, we're very focused on playing shows. I think I got a few left. We just did like 9 or 10 over the past, say, 2 or 3 months. So we had about 9 or 10 shows right there, and we promote pretty hard and try to stay in the face of people quite a bit. And then we go into hibernation, and you know, we do like our writing and recording time. And once we get into recording mode, we usually lock ourselves away for quite a while.
Sure. How long does it take you guys to record an album? How long did it take you to record this last disc?
Longer than I want to talk about.
Because I would assume
it took a really long time. I mean, it was really what it was is like, you know, you have the acoustic guitar players, Scott and myself. We come up with the riffs. We recorded the riffs. We went about it in this really unorthodox way of recording. We did the guitars first, and then we added the drums in after. And the poor drummers had to come in and try to play to our, you know, guitar tracks. You know, like, I mean, we're not time, you know, so
sure,
everything's out of time, and they're trying to play to that. So it took quite a while, and it was more like a writing process. You know, like we'd record stuff, you know, the main meat and potatoes, and then after that, we just say, well, let's start dumping stuff over and adding more stuff to it as we're recording at the same time. So it took quite a while. I think we actually started recording the stuff in 2005.
Okay.
And then we ended on August 22nd of 2009. So it was I think, what was it, 10, 11 songs, something like that on that CD, and it took quite a lot of work. And I mean, but we put a lot into it. You know, it's not like we just threw something together. I mean, we were working on it religiously every single night.
Sure.
You know, just that's what we do. That's what we did. So, so we're happy with the outcome. I mean, we had a big celebration and stuff, so it was well worth it.
Do you enjoy the recording process overall, or do you get frustrated with it at times? Or?
A big mix of that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Usually, if I'm depending on if I'm having a bad day, I mean, I'll just stop and not even do it. You know, and just say, this ain't working out for me, and time to either leave and try something else for a little while and then go back to it. But for the most part, I think I really, really enjoy it a lot. You know, the actual recording, a lot of the editing and stuff like that gets a little tedious. So that's not always all that fun. But you know, finding samples, we make our own samples. We make everything's homemade through us. So we just enjoy recording a lot of stuff. I mean, we've gone to record in a big giant mansion, and we were just recording samples, just, you know, forks and knives and drawers and a fireplace and banging stuff and throwing stuff across the room, downstairs. You know, set like 5 microphones up in a room, and we just did that all day long. You know, just
no kidding.
A whole vault of samples to use for the CD.
Wow.
So, yeah, I guess we really enjoy recording.
Now, do you and Scott handle the bulk of the writing?
Yeah, yep. Scott and I usually do most of the writing.
Mm-hmm.
As is, you know, you get your main ideas, and then we take it over to Brian, and Brian listens to it, and then he lays his stuff down, hit the drums that he likes to play, and we see if it all jives and feels good, and if it grooves, and we're into it, you know. And then Joe comes over and pretty much does the same thing, just writes his bass lines right along with whatever Scott and I come up with. And Scott and I usually seem to bounce off each other really well, as in, if I'm writing a main riff, he tends to come up with something that, you know, makes it sound like comparable for it, you know, and
sure.
Or vice versa, you know. He'll come up with one, and then I'll do the same thing after that. Just bouncing off each other, and it seems to be our favorite songs, at least when that happens, when we seem to be able to bounce off each other really well, and those are usually the ones that stick, you know. I mean, we still have 45 songs as of right now that still need to be mixed.
Wow. Yeah,
we just have a whole arsenal full of stuff. It's just crazy. So,
Do the songs ever change in the process of actually recording them? Do you ever go to record and you find at that stage that you're kind of changing things as you go?
Yep. It's usually like we'll have an idea, go with that idea for a little while, and after listening to it, we'll start manipulating. We'll start playing new stuff. We'll start changing the riff around. We'll, add accents in different areas that we weren't even thinking of doing it. So yeah, it definitely takes a different road with everything that we do. I mean, some of the songs that are on that CD, if you heard the way they were originally played, you would think, wow, these guys are just folk players.
Really?
It just sounds like folk music, in a lot of ways. Just like the basic idea is like almost like a folk song. You go through, you're just strumming the stuff, or you got some weird little riff that makes you sound like it should have been played on a banjo rather than an acoustic guitar, and so then we pull in a banjo. So just things like that, and it's always evolving, it's always changing for us. So.
Does that mean too that when you go to play live, do the songs sometimes deviate live from what they are on the recording?
Most definitely.
Really?
What we did with the song that's on there, Roma Jew, is that particular one was actually written by Scott, just all the music, and it was very electronics. There was electronic drums, and he just kind of one janked it, went through it, and blew out a bunch of little notes and riffs over the top of it. Showed it to me. I loved it. Sang over it. But then the problem came. Well, all that stuff is all on a keyboard. It doesn't sound like real instruments, and we weren't really trying to make it sound like real instruments. So we all sat down and said, well, we have to come up with a live version of Roma Jew. So it's got the same main riff in it, the same style, but it just sounds like a totally different song, really, except for the main riff,
Sure. So you guys, so how many originals do you think you have total?
A total, I'm going to say somewhere between, without exaggerating, between 50 and 60.
Wow.
So, and, the only ones that we worked on were the ones that are on that CD.
Yeah.
Finished, completed. I mean, Scott and I are already starting to work on our next project of songs.
Now, does that make it difficult to put a set list together when you go to play out, or do you try to focus on what's on the CD, or how do you approach that?
Well,
So that's a lot of material.
yeah, and I think, we're so open-minded to all kinds of music and all kinds of different things that usually, like as an example, we played at that metal show this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What we ended up doing is take all the songs, we write them all down, we feel out the room, we see what's going on, see who's there. If it seems like it's a really heavy crowd, we play all our heaviest stuff.
Makes sense.
It just you might as well play to the crowd, play to what you think these people are gonna like of your stuff. Obviously the heavy metal guys are gonna not want to hear a song like Never Be. They're gonna go, oh my God, these guys suck. They'll want to leave, and you can't blame them because that's not what they're into.
Sure.
So we try to, since we are so open-minded with all kinds of music, we try to just play to the crowd because we might as well. We got all those songs to choose from, and we wrote them all. So that's usually how we do it.
Sure. Do you guys do any covers?
No, not yet. We have talked about doing some, but I think we really want to do something really clever or really eclectic, and I think we get so wrapped up in writing and writing our own stuff that we try to do a cover, and we just I think we get bored with it because it's somebody else's, and somebody will go, well, hey, I got this new riff.
Right.
Play this for a while, and the next thing you know, we're playing on the new riff and not a cover. So
That's good, though. It doesn't sound like you'll ever have to worry about writer's block or not having anything new to come up with in NSI, so that's great.
It comes out pretty quickly,
Yeah.
We constantly write. That's all we really do is just write and write and write and write.
Mm-hmm.
Besides just the actual stuff that we have recorded on CD or on our hard drives, we also have our little recorders. Nowadays, I'm carrying around a Droid all day long.
Sure.
Pick up my guitar. If I hear a riff, all of a sudden I probably have had the 30 riffs on that right now.
No kidding.
Yeah, the thing's already starting to back up on me. So, and I got my old phone with the same problem. That one's probably got hundreds of riffs on it. Stuff I'm probably not even gonna remember how to play or use, but it's just constantly writing.
Now, do you also do any solo work, Shane?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of solo work actually. Mostly like coffee shop type places, or smaller venues that have more of a tamer crowd. Like a place like up in Portsmouth at the Blue Mermaid. They're more like they're a little bit older of a crowd, so I can play a little bit more gentler, mellower stuff with just myself, and I like to do that a lot for two reasons. One, I don't have to ask anybody if they're available to do it. It makes it a lot easier for scheduling.
Absolutely.
And two, it strengthens your playing ability to be able to perform when you can do it solo, so you're not masked. Because like there's times when I play, live in the band, and I can make a mistake. Nobody will know the difference.
Sure.
It's just so loud and it's covered up, so you don't have to worry about it. But when you're naked out there and you're all alone, you make a mistake, people are going to hear it. So it's good it keeps your chops, and it keeps, because it's a different feel when you're just practicing alone in a house. You're sitting there alone in your house or wherever, or wherever, just you're playing away. You can play great, but you go to like a venue, a show, or something like that. You start playing in front of people, and there's a little bit of the adrenaline kicks in a little bit. And it can,
Definitely.
make you play a little bit different or a little bit faster, or you might even, depending on what the situation is, maybe even a little jittery. So it's always good to be out there trying to do your craft the best that you possibly can, and the best way to do that is definitely be as naked as you possibly can. So.
Now, when you do the solo shows, are you doing some of the NSI material, or do you have your own set of material?
It's NSI material, and I usually change it up, and I create yet another version of certain songs. Like I do play Tugboat live as a solo performance, and it sounds absolutely nothing like it does on the album.
No kidding.
Yeah, I just do a lot of mute palming and palm muting, and I play it more gentle and more softer, and I can play at the smaller venues and try to attract even more people, to what you're into, and that.
That's awesome. Well, listen, Shane, do you have anything coming up that you want to mention? Any big shows or anything that you want to get out there?
Oh yeah, well, what we're doing is this coming Saturday. I have Scott and I are actually playing a show with a band called Dagmar and a band called When Geeks Unite. It's at the Gulu Gulu in Salem, Massachusetts. And what we're calling it is the Smackdown, Songwriter Smackdown Show. And the way the show works is, say When Geeks Unite plays a song. All their stuff is set up. Then Dagmar plays a song. All their stuff is set up. Then NSI, Scott and myself, play a song. And what we do is we rotate through the whole night like that, one song each.
Really?
Keep the whole night going like that. This way, if you're there to see one band, or you can only catch a little bit of the act, you at least get to hear everybody play at least one song while you're there.
That's a great idea.
And you can say, wow, these guys were great. And, yeah, NSI, they suck, or whatever the case may be. But at least you'll get to hear it all. And if there was somebody there that you didn't like, well, there's going to be two other acts there that you might like. So that's a new thing we've been doing. It's going to be our third show doing it that way.
No kidding. That's really cool.
Yeah, we did one at the Stone Church, and then we did another one just recently at the 2 weeks ago at the Blue Mermaid, and then this one's going to Gulu Gulu, and then after that we're heading up to Vermont for some shows. So
Yeah.
and that'll be that for I think just a little bit.
Okay.
So
So that's all NSI stuff, and any solo shows coming up?
yeah, I think I got 3 left, and then I'm taking a short break.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to we're going to go back into end of the summer is always a good time to start writing again for us.
Sure.
Start writing, and then come out during the fall when
Do you feel that that's your crowd, the college crowd?
I think the college crowd, and probably a little bit, depending on what style you're looking to have. Like I can get an older crowd in there too, like late 30s, 40s, depending if I'm playing acoustic stuff. So
Okay.
I try to, like I said, grab as many people as I possibly can. To let them know that I'm out there, and it only opens up more doors for me. So.
Absolutely. Well, Shane, thanks, and I'm going to play Tugboat in a second, but before we wrap up, where do we find you online for everyone who wants to find out and keep up with NSI and, of course, your solo stuff as well?
Well, you can go out on, I know everybody's out on Facebook now. There is an NSI site out there. You can go right out there on Facebook. It's got
Okay.
music and everything down, and show listings and stuff. Yeah, you can go to the NSI one there, or you can go to MySpace NSI Music.
Okay.
The website we're still working on, so that's not really a place you're going to find a lot of information, but those other two sites that people seem to click on a lot, that's where we're at right now.
Very cool. All right. Well, Shane, thanks very much for being here with us tonight.
No, thank you.
And always a pleasure to talk to you. And I'm sure we'll talk to you again in the future. And I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Tugboat. I like this song a lot. So Shane Watkins from NSI. Thanks very much, man.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was Shane. I'm gonna play Tugboat from NSI, and then when I come back after that, I'll talk at you for just another minute or two before we wrap up the show, tell you what's going on here the rest of the week on IPMNation.com. And this is NSI with Tugboat.
I can win you over with a big old bucket of hog roast. Got old cotton haircut and there's a place of bits on the yacht. Now every dirty bag of pieces, every shark dashing blue. Until the Franklins come rolling out. Babe, we're on top of the world on the sweet talk. Getting by me another day. Burning the antenna, I sink and scamper under the radar. Mega thunderstorms and bombs with answers but crackles and cause. It's plain and simple, still top of it's a signal that crisscrosses our elusive generation. Babe, we're on top of the world and I'm back and they won't hear a thing, nothing today. The rhythm rolling the high gagging horse. That's why my powder breathing that the machine burns a tank full of courage. Yeah, they thought that I would lay it down, but the colors were out and now, babe, I'm on top of the world, overlooking my county for another day. Don't take me for a ride. Don't take me for a ride. I got years on my mind. I got the whole damn world on my side, on my side. With total fact, it's got to run with the bulls and playing all through these lyrical lectures that the rose of wounds. And they thought that I would just lay down till the powder fell out. And now, hey, if we're on top of the world, then why does it feel so wrong? I said, hey, if we're on top of the world, then why would we leave them to struggle for another day?
That's Tugboat from NSI here on Remote Transmission, live on IPMNation.com. So it was very cool to talk to Shane Watkins from NSI. He's a great guy. I had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple of months ago on Local Outbreak, which, for those of you not from the New Hampshire area, Local Outbreak is a local music program that I host on 100.1 The Planet, New Hampshire's modern rock in Plymouth, New Hampshire. And, if you're in New Hampshire, you can hear that show first before anyone else, 10 p.m. every Sunday night on 100.1 The Planet. And, of course, if you're not in the New Hampshire area, you can hear the show shortly thereafter right here on IPMNation.com. But NSI, very cool band. There's really nobody around here that sounds quite like them. And if you haven't seen them live, you should definitely check it out. Always a good time, and it's always something different. Some programming notes for you. We got a lot of good stuff coming up in the next few weeks here on Remote Transmission. Next week, the Timothy Paul Band will be here with us. And we actually had on Sunday night, Timmy J from the Timothy Paul Band called in to Stephen James Blake Countdown to Reality, the live show that we do here Sunday nights, little talk show. And wow, I don't know if you guys can hear those sirens in the background, but a lot of police activity tonight here in downtown Manchester. But so Timothy Paul Band will be with us next week here on Remote Transmission, live at 11 p.m. on the East Coast. And let's see, August 3rd, we have Let Us Not Forget. August 10th, Forging Reverie. And August 17th, Top Shelf Habit. So we got a lot of great things coming up the next few weeks here on Remote Transmission, live on IPMNation.com. Be sure to rejoin us tomorrow night here on the live channel, Norm Unfiltered, every 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on IPMNation.com. If you haven't checked out Norm Unfiltered, it's a trip. It's definitely a unique program, and Norm is a unique individual. And, of course, Thursday nights at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time, Verbal Ejaculation, currently the number 2 show here on IPMNation.com, hosted by Chris Rose and Dan Ranlett. Verbal Ejaculation had taken the top spot for a long time, actually. It was number 1. It's back to number 2 now. My show, Local Outbreak, is currently number 1, but, it's always a dogfight between the two shows to see who will be number 1. Both shows get a hell of a lot of downloads. And by the way, that is how we calculate the ratings here on IPMNation.com. If you look at the stats, you can see what the top 5 rated shows are on the station, which in reality is what are the top 5 most downloaded shows on the station. So if you have a particular show that you like, make sure you and all your friends download it. And of course, once you've downloaded it, sorry, it's the end of a long day. Once you've downloaded it, you can listen to it whenever you want, so that's pretty cool. So let's see, what else? Also, too, now Monday mornings at 9 a.m., Mystical Connections in the Soul Room, which is one of the original shows here on IPMNation.com. That is now a live show, and you can hear that every Monday morning at 9 a.m. on the IPM Nation live channel. And, of course, after that, you can download it. So a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of good things happening here on IPMNation.com. Oh, I'm just about out of breath. Dan is under the weather, as I mentioned, so I'm sure he'll be back with us next week, and I'm sure he'll be here Thursday night for Verbal Ejaculation along with his co-host Chris Rose. Let's see. One more thing to mention, too. I want to give a quick shout-out to a new friend of mine, Zaldor. Les Zaldor from BounceRadio.net. BounceRadio.net is an internet radio station based in Detroit, Michigan, and I would suggest you check it out. They have a kind of a modern rock format, but they also play a lot of obscure stuff that you won't hear anywhere else. And if you're wondering why I'm actually plugging another station, it's a little bit different with internet radio than it is with terrestrial FM radio. Obviously, if I were sitting here broadcasting from an FM station right now, I wouldn't be talking about another FM station saying, hey, go check them out. But internet radio is a whole different beast. It's kind of like the Wild West, because internet radio stations can be accessed from anywhere in the world. It's a whole different deal, and it's really not competitive in that way. BounceRadio.net does something completely different than what IPMNation.com does. So if I find another internet station that's doing something completely different that I think is cool, I'm going to tell you about it. Last night, Zaldor from BounceRadio.net did an interview with Michael Haupley Pierce from the band Chemical Distance. And I happen to be in that band, and I didn't participate in the interview because, believe me, Mike can talk enough for all three members of Chemical Distance. But I was in the chat room listening in, and I was participating that way and had a little conversation with Zaldor in the chat room, and definitely going to have him on a future episode of Remote Transmission to talk to him about what he does and about BounceRadio.net. But anyway, want to give them a little plug. Zaldor seems like a very cool guy, and it's a very cool station, and I hope everyone checks it out. Although, when you're not checking out BounceRadio.net, I hope you're listening to IPMNation.com. And I'm going to wrap this up now because I'm tripping over my words because I'm beyond exhausted. And yeah, I think it's time to put this baby to bed. So, like I said, Timothy Paul Band will be here with us next week. They will also be on the next episode of Local Outbreak. So, oh, by the way, if you are a fan of Local Outbreak, you may have noticed there's a couple new episodes of the show on IPMNation.com that you can listen to, you can stream it, you can download it, you can do whatever you want with it. Kelly Morrison, The Fallen Free, and then Akrita, a couple of new episodes. I'm just mentioning that because the show was gone for a couple weeks. So it is back and in full force, and we've kind of changed things around with it a little bit of a staffing change up. So hopefully there won't be any further interruptions. And Timothy Paul Band is my next guest on Local Outbreak and on Remote Transmission. So, hey, maybe. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks again to Shane Watkins from NSI for calling in. I will remind everyone that Remote Transmission, this episode, will be available for download probably by about 12:15 a.m. So if you want to be able to stream it and or download it, you can do that. And be sure to listen to all the recent editions or even early editions of Remote Transmission on the Remote Transmission page here on IPMNation.com. So for everyone who participated tonight, thank you very much. I'm going to wrap this up so I don't trip over my words anymore. I'm really tired. But I do it for you. I do it for all of you, the faithful, the loyal, the citizens of the IPM Nation. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but I like talking on the radio. But anyway, I do want all of you to know how much I appreciate you listening and how much I appreciate all the people who are a part of IPMNation.com and who contribute to it. In fact, I appreciate you all so much, I'm going to update the staff page right now because it definitely needs to be updated. Come back tomorrow night at 9:30 for Norm Unfiltered. And talk to you all later.
Yeah, this is Tyrone Biggins. I tell you, you listen to IPMNation, motherfucker.com. Shit.
TheMusicBoard.info. Come talk about local music in the New England area. Does your band have a show they want to promote? Come to the Music Board. Did your band just release a new CD? Did you kick out your drummer for stealing your guitar picks? Or you just want to complain about your girlfriend? Whatever, come to the Music Board. Everything is always free, and you can find us on the web at www.themusicboard.info.
Welcome to IPMNation.com, the next generation of Internet radio, powered by Impact Player Music.